Tommy Vassetti? Shit. Didn't think they'd ever let him out.
He kept his head down. Helps people forget.
People will remember soon enough. When they see him walking down the streets of their neighborhoods, it will be bad for business.
Well, what are we gonna do, Sonny?
We treat him like an old friend and keep him busy out of town, okay? We've been talking about expanding down south, right? Vice City is 24-karat gold these days. The Colombians, the Mexicans, hell, even those Cuban refugees are cutting themselves a piece of some nice action.
But it's all drugs, Sonny. None of the families will touch that shit.
Times are changing. The families can't keep their backs turned while our enemies reap the rewards. So, we send someone down to do the dirty work for us and cut ourselves a nice, quiet slice, okay? Who's our contact down there?
Ken Rosenberg, schmuck of a lawyer. How's he gonna hold Vassetti's leash?
We don't need him to. We just set him loose in Vice City. We give him a little cash to get started, okay? Give it a few months. Then we go down. Pay him a little visit, right? See how he's doing.
Hey, guys, it's Ken Rosenberg here. Hey, great, hey. Well, I'm gonna drive you guys to the meet, okay? Now, I've talked to the suppliers, and they are very keen to start a business relationship. So, if all goes well, we should be doing very nicely for ourselves, which is, you know, good. Okay, so they're brothers, okay? One operates the business, and the other one does the flying. Okay, that's them in the chopper. All right, here's the deal. They want a straight exchange on open ground. All right? Okay, stay tight. Let's go.
Got it?
100% pure grade A Colombian, my friend.
Let me see it.
The greens?
10s and 20s. Used.
I think we have a deal, my friend.
Oh, shit! Come on, get out of here! Drive!
I poked my head out of the gutter for one freaking second and fate shovels shit in my face.
Go get some sleep.
What are you gonna do?
I'll drop by your office tomorrow and we can start sorting this mess out.
All right, everyone. Welcome to Vice City, also known as Miami. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We certainly got a lot of clues. We pointed them out and talked about them whenever we were playing GTA 3. You remember Ray, our boss, the crooked cop, saying, "See you in Miami." You remember all the billboards around town that always said that, Francis International Airport, see you in Miami. So even then, they knew they were going to go this way. This was originally intended on being an expansion. Originally, it was just going to be, what today would be called DLC. It was going to be an expansion to the GTA 3 game setting here, but as they worked on it, the story grew and got more and more complex until finally it became a standalone game on its own, a standalone expansion, as you might say. The camera will be shifting up and down a little bit here as people walk behind us and all. And I've kind of frozen here on Tommy Vassetti, who is our protagonist, who is our character through the game. Kind of frozen on him. One thing to show you the animations here. He's got some really interesting little, I guess called static animations or the non-moving animations. I remember it's kind of like, as you'll see, he'll stretch and yawn. He'll look at his watch occasionally. It's kind of like Sonic, when Sonic had the static animation, the pause animations. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. When nothing's going on, I see him stretching. When nothing's going on, and Sonic would sit there and look at you on the screen and tap his foot and shrug every now and then. same kind of thing going on with Tommy Vercetti here. This is also a difference you'll see between the PC version and the console versions, is that the PC version apparently, you know, being that it was an actual port of the PlayStation version in particular, it has a couple of busted animation files. So you'd get the idle animations like this, but you'll notice later on when he holds a weapon, like if he's holding a chainsaw or if he's holding a rifle or something like that in his hands, the idle animation files, the scripts for whenever he's holding a weapon in his hands were broken, so he would stand absolutely stock still. As we get weapons and stuff, you'll sit there and you'll notice that he'll be holding the weapons and he'll be shifting his weight and doing just what Claude did in GTA 3. You know, setting it around his shoulder, just kind of looking around, all that kind of stuff. But in the PC version, it was broken. Thank you once again, Rockstar, for never repairing your PC versions when you upload them to Steam or make them available for download. For some reason, they just never seem to want to put any effort into fixing them. And so he would just stand around like a statue. He'd just stand there like a mannequin holding a weapon and never shift around. So it's good that the modders have gotten in there and added it in. I think this was in the Vice City Leftovers fix, is the name of the mod that does stuff like that, repairs a bunch of the broken little bugs and that sort of thing, and gets them back to give you the best experience possible with the PC version here. Brings all the best parts of all of them onto what we have here now. Just judging by the character, you can already notice that we're using that skeletal animation system now that the Xbox used for GTA 3. Notice he's a much smoother moving. He doesn't have the body isn't obviously made of chunks. You can't see the lines that are connecting all his parts together and all. They're using the more advanced animation system and body modeling system. So even in the last episodes of GTA that we played, we may have been using the updated graphics for the characters and for Claude and all that, but the underlying system was still the block system. You know, it was still the block pieces of the body with the newer textures just wrapped around them. You could still see all the seams that made the body up. So there you go. Welcome, like I said, welcome to Miami here, the expansion that grew. Those were the Forellis. We saw a little bit of Liberty City there for a moment in the introduction. Those were the Forelli family. We have gone back in time 15 years. This is 1986 now. Oh my God, I remember 1986 so well. I was 21 years old, so yeah, imagine this world here. That's why I have such wonderful memories of this. I was in college, I was 21 years old, I was in art school, I lived on a horse farm, I was buff as hell, I had a full big mane of hair, and I was one of the few straight guys in the art building. I really loved the 80s. It was a great time. So yeah, there's going to be quite a tinge of nostalgia for this game as well. And I think that's part of, number one, it's a great game. It's in such a fun setting. The music is just awesome. It's got a great soundtrack, you know, I wish I could play it with the soundtrack on, because there's so much great music on here, especially in the original game. If you can get your hand on the original versions, or if you can, you know, if you decide to play this, go on to like YouTube or something like that and download the original, or go find the file somewhere, the mod files, and get the original music files for it. Because unfortunately, you know, as time goes by, so many of these games have short-term licenses for their music. So you'll notice music items get pulled out and get dropped out, and we'll comment on that several times as we go through the game here, about when various music files have been dropped or changed or something like that. But it's got a rocking 80s soundtrack. If you love 80s music and all, it's there, it's good to go, and you're gonna love it. That will, of course, raise a few problems, as you noticed during the introduction there when we were in Marco's Bistro, and we'll come back to that for a second. When we were in Marco's Bistro and Sonny was talking about sending Tommy down here to set up an operation here in Vice City, you'll notice I cut the music out right at the end. so many of the cutscenes, it's one downside, so many of the cutscenes in here have music playing in the background. And it's something I've ran into every once in a while in like GTA 4. There's a couple of scenes like where you were in a party at one of the characters' houses, or whenever we were at Playboy X and we were a cutscene at his place. No, not Playboy X. It's when we were Dwayne at a cutscene at his apartment, and he had rap music playing in the background, and I had to kind of get in there and kind of muffle and distort the rap music and stuff, and when they weren't talking, cut it out entirely. You'll notice I did the same thing with Sonny there. You know, they were playing Broken Wings by Mr. Mister, which is an awesome song, just a wonderful song, really set the feel for the game here whenever that was playing there. But at the end, when he wasn't talking anymore, I just cut the sound to 0, because there was another, several seconds of just the song playing, and we're really trying to do our best not to get copyright hits on this, the little copyright dings where they throw commercials onto it and stuff. And plus put a copyright thing on your copyright strike on your video, which, at this point isn't a bad thing, because, that goes, oh, well, but, in the future, you know how YouTube is. YouTube is a slave to the corporations and everything, and they won't defend you, of course, for fair use and that sort of thing. So at some point in time, if a company had a copyright thing going, you're using part of our song, don't put it past them to allow them to say, well, you need to take it off entirely. Nintendo's done that in the past. Capcom does that regularly. So we're going to try to cut and obscure the music in the background as much as possible during the cutscenes, which is unfortunate. Like I said, hopefully most of it will be while they're talking, and hopefully that will mask it to the best of its ability. All right, I think I have talked enough here. I don't want this entire video to just be me talking about what's going on and waxing nostalgic about the 80s and how much fun I had back then. So we will continue along with the game now. I'm going to play the last little bit. We're going to restart the last little bit where they come riding up, where Tommy here and Ken come riding up to Ken's office, and then we will get on with the game at that point. We will have a few more. I want to talk about the Forellis. I want to talk about Marco's Bistro back there. So we will talk about all that when we get to the next little pause in the game action here. So thanks for putting up with the little bit of background explanation and my little nostalgia trip to the 1980s. My God, this game was 30 years. It's set 30 years ago. Don't get me wrong. The game isn't 30 years old, but the setting's 30 years old. Just makes me feel so old right now, because I can remember these times perfectly. We'll talk to you as soon as we get the game going again.
I poked my head out of the gutter for 1 freaking second, and fate shovels shit in my face.
Go get some sleep.
What are you gonna do?
I'll drop by your office tomorrow and we can start sorting this mess out.
And there goes Ken Rosenberg, our contact down here, in his fabulous pink leisure suit. And that is, I'm afraid, all of that song that I'm able to play. It always starts up much like in GTA 3, how every time at the very beginning of the game you get into the car with 8-Ball, and it goes to head radio and plays the head radio introduction every single time. Here, when you're playing this, it always starts off on the Billie Jean song, unless you bought the game after 2012. That was in the original game. All the copies after 2012, I'm afraid, that's whenever they cut out a bunch of music in the game because they lost the licensing. And they lost both of the Michael Jackson songs. We did have Billie Jean and Wanna Be Starting Something used to be in here. But because of that, they've cut out the songs, and now when you get on it, it plays Laura Branigan. Oh, what's the song? Self-Control. Self-Control by Laura Branigan is the song that it plays now. So there you go there. Alrighty.
We interrupt your programming with a message from the State Department. All bridges and some roads in the Vice City metropolitan area have been closed because of a severe weather warning. Meteorologists are tracking Hurricane Hermione, which has devastated 5 Caribbean islands and is heading for Vice City. More updates soon.
That was the announcement explaining why the bridges are closed. And that's another thing. Hold on here just one moment. Let's go here. Look at what we have now in Vice City. We have a map. Look at there. This was the first game to have a map in it, and where you could see exactly where you are on the world here. Isn't that wonderful? I am headed down this way because I wanted to, it seems like we are going in a kind of an opposite direction. Doesn't have waypoints and stuff. You still need to learn your way around, so it isn't like you have a waypoint that you can follow and everything. Let's see, there we go. Let's resume it. I came down this way instead of directly toward the pink blip there, our safe house, because I wanted to come around onto Washington Beach, or actually, I guess it's South Beach in real life Miami, to turn this corner and give you the full effect of all the buildings here. There we go. Look at all the neon, all these pastel colored buildings facing the beach there, and all the neon lights and everything. Just a glorious experience. And if you pull up and look at any images of South Beach, you'll see that this is what it looks like. It's amazing how much it looks like this right here. They've done a really good job of basically copying it and putting it into the game here. Also, we started out beside the Admiral. That was the car that was sitting there, the one that Ken drove us up in. But, we could not avoid getting on the scooter there. And when it was called a Faggio, that just further cemented our love for this little machine here. Absolutely wonderful. And we saw it in the introduction, Obviously, I wasn't talking during the introductory movie, but you saw it there as you're going along, and you're going, oh my God, they've got helicopters in this that actually fly. They've got planes in this. They've got motorcycles in this. So this is definitely, a GTA 3. As we said, it was originally a DLC. Look at that moon up there. Originally going to be an expansion to GTA 3, but they were definitely able to put a lot more stuff into it, and had time to do the stuff that they didn't get around to in the previous game. Okay, we are coming up here on the Ocean View Hotel. We need to stop in the pink marker there to continue on with the story. This car right here in front of us is an Oceanic. That one right there, you'll get used to that. I have came out this door and stolen that car so many times in my previous playthrough. I've only played, unlike GTA 3, which we've completed 3 times now, I've only completed Vice City once. But you're going to get real used to seeing this car because it's the most convenient one. All right, let's go on ahead. Let's hit the Ocean View Hotel, get our next part of the story going. See, walk through the door to enter the building. Okay, we will leave it parked there, and just like other safe houses, I believe you can park, I'll have to check to see, I know you can park at least one vehicle out here on the curb. I'm not sure how many. We're going to go on through the Ocean View. We're going to continue on into the story now. Another part that we've talked about, before I go in and get the next cutscene going, we've talked about the differences in the various versions of the games. One of them is the people talking on the sidewalk here. You hear all the pedestrians talking. Sounds a lot like GTA 3. Another case, in the actual PC version, there is very little chatter. The streets are almost silent. And there's, once again, I think it's in the Vice City leftover patch that fixes that and fixes the scripting so that it actually talks as much as they do in the PS2 and the Xbox. The thing you'll see, look at the newspaper here. There's newspapers and leaves blowing around just like it was in GTA 3, and you see it's the Vice voice. And boy, she likes me. Who does your hair? Nice shirt. And look over here at the palm fronds. You know, the leaves are blowing around with these palm fronds here. In the original PC version, and that is the version that is on Steam, get used to seeing the Vice City police cars there too. In the version that is on Steam, for some reason, once again, Rockstar, the leaves are like oak leaves, and the newspapers that you see on the ground are the zombie Elvis ones that you see from GTA 3. Why they didn't include the street debris, the appropriate street debris with the Vice City newspapers and the palm fronds, instead of the more, you know, deciduous leaves, the oak leaf stuff, and the Liberty City papers, don't know. It's another one of those questions that Rockstar, you know, you just have to get them to answer one day. Why it is that back then, anyway, they didn't show the love to their PC ports. It's why people had such a fear when GTA 5 came out. People were very afraid about GTA 5 that it was going to have the same issue, that, you know, because GTA 5 had been out on the PlayStation and the Xbox for quite a while, and they were afraid that it's going to be another crappy Rockstar port. But they actually spent the time and they did it right, and now it's finally the case where the PC port is the definitive version of a GTA game. Hopefully they'll do the same with Red Dead Redemption 2, and hopefully port us Red Dead 1 one day too. That's enough about that. Let us head on into, one more thing. Look at the interface up there. You will never see a more fabulous interface. Whoop, daytime just broke, didn't it? Notice the color change and how all the neon. And there's a call from my wife. I will be right back, and then we will go on into the hotel here. Let's go back to resume. There you go. It would not be a GTA game without my wife calling and interrupting it, would it? So it's good to get that tradition started from episode 1, isn't it? All right, let's go ahead and enter on into the ocean view here and see where we're going to go. When not on a mission, you can save your progress by collecting the cassette tape, and we need to walk into the pink marker to continue. So just like other GTA games, you are now free basically to wander around the city. You don't even have to go over here and go up to your safe house room, because you can save down here in the lobby. So you never actually have to continue on the mission if you wanted. You could play this game the rest of your life without ever starting the storyline. It does make me wonder how many people, if any younger people play this, how many of them know what a cassette tape even is? How many of them have ever seen a cassette tape? All right, let's go ahead and let's save up. We are going to set it here. Let's see. We will start right there. And we have played through the beginning a couple of times now. Right up just past this point where the next cutscene is. We played it through twice because that's what I do. As I'm putting in all these mods and everything. I put in a mod and I come in and I test it and I see how it works in the game, and then I put in another mod and try and test it, etc., etc. So let's go ahead and save. Okay, there we go. Now let's walk on through here. Isn't this gorgeous? Look at the reflections and everything. Beautiful. It's nice. This is so much of a difference. So much of a difference from the usual flea motels that we tend to live in.
Hello, Sonny.
Tommy, it's been too long. I know. You're just overwhelmed with emotion. 15 years.
Seems like only yesterday. I guess that's a perspective thing.
Hey, doing time for the family is no piece of cake, but the family looks after its own, okay? So how'd the deal go down? You sitting on some white gold?
Look, Sonny, we were set up. The deal was an ambush. Harry and Lee are dead.
You better be kidding me, Tommy! Tell me you still got the money.
No, Sonny. I don't have the money.
That was my money, Tommy! My money! You better not be screwing me, Tommy, because you know I'm not a man to be screwed with.
Wait, Sonny. You have my personal assurance that I'm going to get you your money back and the drugs, and I'm going to mail you the dicks of those responsible.
Hey, I already know that. You're not a fool, Tommy, but I warn you. Neither am I. If it was anybody else, you'd be dead already. But because it's you, because we got history, I'm gonna let you handle this.
Look, Sonny, you got my word.
I'll be in touch.
All right, folks, so here we are back here in the hotel lobby again. Let us continue on up. We are going to go. You notice the pink marker is gone. As I've said, this is so much better than the flea bag rat trap motels that we have been used to in every single GTA game, including GTA 4. Remember, we start out and we're in this horrible places in that as well. Let's turn, which way is our, this way. So we can come on up here, and this is our room. It is a small room. It's, you know, basically an efficiency. But it is a nice enough place. The only thing is, it disturbs me is it does not have a bathroom. So I'm wondering if it's one of those with like one of the private one of the bathrooms down the hallway. There we go. There's a door right over here, isn't there? All right, so that's where our bathroom is. Looks like we can't actually see through it, but we do have a door, so we got a bathroom. All right, I've never noticed that back there. I have never been back there and noticed that. All right, so there you go, and we can even look out the windows and look down onto the street. You see the people walking around, and in this case having a fight. There's our Faggio Park down there on the curb. Big step up. As I said, even GTA 4, when it came along, didn't give us a window to look out of. Okay, you wonder why we got this? Why is it, why do we have such a, what's the point in this if the save place is downstairs? Well, because you know how we pick up all those packages as we go along. You know, there's hidden packages in this game, too. And you know, as you pick up packages, you get different weapons rewards and all that stuff for them. Well, this is where they show up. Instead of being out on the sidewalk, they're down this hallway here. So as you pick up the packages and get the rewards, they pop in, all the pickups come in along this hallway here. So that is a reason to keep coming back up these stairs and come back to this place. Okay, so a few points of order here. Let's go on outside and we'll start back up again. Okay, we're back outside the hotel, looking out across, back past Tommy, and looking out across the beach and all there. As I was saying, that was Sonny Forelli, of course. The Forellis here 15 years earlier than what happened in GTA 3. The Forellis are a big crime family. You remember them. That was Marco's Bistro. You remember it from GTA 3, where we blew up Mike Lips Forelli. Remember we had that mission for Joey where we went and picked up Mike's Lips car and took it and had 8-Ball put a bomb in it, brought it back and blew him up whenever he came out. Well, that was the interior there. You'll notice that it's loosely based on the interior of the bistro scene from Goodfellas, like the Happy Birthday scene. And it's just kind of an homage to Goodfellas, as it were, including, you'll notice the body hanging from the meat hook in the background, which is also from a scene in Goodfellas. That was obviously Tom Sizemore. He voices Sonny, and he is known from, Saving Private Ryan, Black Hawk Down, and then he's done a bunch of TV, like Hawaii Five-0, Law and Order, that sort of thing. Our main character here, you notice we speak for the first time ever. We are speaking now. We have a character that talks, and he is done by Ray Liotta, who you'll notice recognized from Goodfellas and Field of Dreams, and he was the main policeman detective in Hannibal, the one that got his top of his head cut off and his brain eaten. And he's done a bunch of TV and stuff as well. it's a shame with him. If you read the background and stuff about the game, they had a lot of issues with Ray. They said some days he would show up. I don't know if he was on coke to get into the whole 1980s spirit. I don't know. But they said there's some days he'd show up and he was a pleasure to work with and laugh a minute and everything else. And other days he would show up and literally sit there for hours and refuse to say his lines or do any acting or anything. So unfortunate, therefore, that he wasn't ever called back to do any more voices for Rockstar in the GTA games. In fact, whenever we dropped Ken off, there exists a animations and all for Ken and Tommy here have a conversation in the car right outside of Ken's office where we dropped Ken off, the lawyer over there. They have a conversation right outside of his office in the car, and it's scripted and everything, and all the parts from Ken are actually recorded, but Ray wouldn't say his lines that day, so there is no recording of his side of the line. So you can go online. There's the people that have dug into all this stuff. They have recreated that scene with the few recorded parts inserted into it, and then just subtitles for the lines that Ray was supposed to say. And Ken is played by William Fichtner. He was in soap operas, big soap opera star back in the 80s. He was also in Armageddon. He was in Black Hawk Down. He had a part in The Dark Knight, some other movies, and he has also been a big video game actor as well. So there we go. As another evening, it looks like rain is coming. Everything's clouding up. Yes, rain and all happens here too. You notice all the scenery in the background. We're on Miami, so you'll see a lot of people walking around with swim trunks and all that sort of thing going on. It's a whole different world here, people. Whole different world. All right, that's where we'll stop it this time around. I promise in the next episodes there'll be a whole lot less me talking. I'll still be talking, but there'll be a whole lot more action going on. But we wanted to get some of that background stuff, some of the information that is just kind of interesting and good to know that about the game and everything. So we will see you then. Hope y'all have a good one. Thanks for coming along, and appreciate you following along. We've got quite a trip ahead of us, and I can promise you there won't be any year and a half breaks in the middle of the story either. So we'll see you then. Bye-bye.